And hello. Welcome to my channel. If you are new here, welcome for the first time. If you're not new here, welcome back. Today we are doing a collective reading for the zodiac season, which means we are doing an overall look at the Scorpio season that we are in now. It's just started. We're going to take a look at what's going on and how we can make the most out of the season. First, I'm trying to get my sage lit and all ready to go. So first, what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about Scorpios. I really love Scorpios, and that's not just because my partner is a Scorpio sun. I really like Scorpios because they are just. And I'll slowly explain what I mean by that. But first, we'll start with Scorpio season really begins right around the 23rd to 24th of October, and it goes all the way until November 23rd, 22nd, depends on who you ask. The Scorpio sign is a water sign. It's a feminine sign, has feminine energy in it. It's also a fixed sign, which typically means they're a little unyielding, if you can put it that way. Every elemental sign, they have their fixed, cardinal, mutable, and Scorpio falls under the fixed sign. It is ruled by Pluto, the 8th house. Get the sage lit. Crystals, if you want to surround yourself with crystals, if you're into that, good crystals for the Scorpio season are topaz, obsidian, turquoise, and labradorite. I always second guess if I'm saying that right, so if I'm not, don't come at me, please. The tarot card that's representative of Scorpio is the Death card. It's all about transformation. It's all about letting things go in a way, even though Scorpios can be known to hold grudges, depending on the Scorpio, of course. They're all about diving deeper into the subconscious mind, subconscious thought, in order to kind of dig up what is in there and see what's worth keeping and what's worth letting go. The mantra for Scorpios are I desire. It's a good mantra to repeat to yourself and start to look over the things that you desire, what you don't desire for this season. Colors, black, crimson, dark grays, probably dark blues as well, depending on who you ask. So the light aspects of Scorpio, these are kind of the personality aspects that are a little bit more evolved. Not one Scorpio person is good or bad. These traits they could be in any Scorpio, they could be in any other sign, really, doesn't matter. But the light aspects for Scorpios are imaginative, persistent, mysterious, passionate, transformative, clever, adventurous, independent, driven, determined, explorative, tolerant, and also sensitive. Now, for the shadow aspects, again, don't think I'm trying to talk down about any person or any sign or anything like that. These are just, maybe you're catching a Scorpio on a bad day. Maybe these are the traits that they would exhibit, which would be vindictive, jealous, possessive, secretive, moody, unyielding. We talked about that fixed aspect of the sign. That's it. Paranoid, intense, and then oversensitive. So I think you can maybe put together what I meant by why I love Scorpios. They just have such a deep understanding because they're water signs. They really represent the kind of darker abyss, kind of where that no light shows part of the ocean that we barely know anything about. And there are all these like different kinds of creatures down there. Again, that we don't typically have. It's very mysterious. You know, that was one of the aspects of Scorpio itself. Now I'm getting ash everywhere from the sage. Yeah, so those are some aspects about Scorpios. We're going to get into this tarot card reading. Again, this is for the collective, so some things may resonate, some things may not. So just take what you want and leave behind what you don't want. I apologize for the squeaky chair I am in. I didn't realize it was so squeaky, so I'm going to try to scoot in one more time and keep as still as I can. Okay, so let's get into it. We had 2 cards for here, which was the 6 of Candles and the Page of Candles. This is a Hocus Pocus deck that I just got from my sister as a Halloween gift that we typically exchange. If you're a big fan of Hocus Pocus, then you'll probably like this deck. If you're not a fan of Hocus Pocus, you should watch it anyways, because it's a great movie. So then we have the Star in reverse. We have the King of Potions. We have the 10 of Potions in reverse. We have Justice. And finally, we have the Queen of Potions. So, some water cards, here, which is pretty cool since Scorpio is a water sign. All right. So what I would say overall during this Scorpio season, we have the Page of Candles and the 6 of Candles here. There might be some things that you want to do, some action you might want to take this Scorpio season, but for some reason you might be feeling held back by it. You might be feeling held back because of maybe fear, maybe some uncertainty, some self-doubt, whatever fits for your situation. You could also be just letting go of those self-doubts or whatever's holding you back and really starting to put a bit of an action plan together for things that you might want to accomplish, goals that you have, things of that nature. So that you could really spend the Scorpio season beginning to let go of the things that are holding you back, or to continue working on that really. In doing so, you might see a little bit of forward momentum, maybe not too much, but you'll start to see a little bit of it, which brings me to the Star in reverse. You will probably have to do a little bit more digging to really start putting action into your plan, actions towards your goals. There's just still some stuff that's holding you back that you need to start to learn to let go. And what this King of Potions tells us here is that you just need to trust that process. You have to trust your emotions. Your emotions aren't here to work against you. They're here to tell you, they're like a guidance system, really. So you have to really start to trust that in order to, in reverse, the Star can really talk about hopelessness in a lot of ways. The Star upright talks about hope, right? So in order to kind of turn that hope around, you can say, you got to start trusting your emotions. But that also means being honest with yourself about your emotions, with how you're feeling. So could be a really good time to dive deep into yourself, just like how we talked about Scorpios tend to have a knack for. They have a knack for really sitting down and digging deep within themselves to find what needs to be transformed, what needs to be let go, what needs attention. So I think I'm always an advocate for meditation, but if something else helps you get in tune with your emotions, get in tune with how you feel, I highly recommend that during this time. And because a lot of time, well, hold on, let me backtrack. Scorpios tend to talk about the shadow self, right? These aspects of ourselves that we probably ignore or kind of push down, I should say. And sorry about that. Needed to help my dog figure out his life for some reason. Anyway, so as I was saying, Scorpios really tend to rule kind of the shadow self aspect of us, which really just, the shadow self being those parts of ourselves that we push down, or these characteristics of ourselves that we ignore, or, just don't really want to show other people or really show ourselves, in just out of fear or embarrassment, shame, those sort of things. And Scorpios tend to be, as I've been saying, they're so good at digging deep down that they're able to uncover the things in the dark that we might be a little nervous to uncover. So Scorpio season is a really great time for all of us, the collective, to explore our shadow selves. And really, these 10 of Potions in reverse, what we're seeing here is that our shadows as a collective, again, we're talking about a bit of hopelessness, disappointment, maybe even some confusion, not sure where to go from here. And that's really okay. That's a part of life. We just might be a little, I'm just hearing ashamed of emotions. I think as a collective, we just might be a little hesitant to acknowledge our emotions for what they really are, for how we're really truly feeling. And that's just something to work on this Scorpio season. It's a great time of year to do that. End of the year's coming. Let's tie up these loose ends. Let's acknowledge the things that we haven't acknowledged yet, to really provide a clean slate. And that's what we're talking about here. We just want to look deep inside ourselves and acknowledge these emotions and be honest with ourselves about emotions. And then what that'll happen is, with this Justice card here, we can then begin to integrate that shadow into our everyday lives, which means bringing it to the light, and our light and shadow aspects really working together. And it'll bring a sense of balance. And we just got out of Libra season, which was all about balance. So we're going to try to carry some of that balance with us for the rest of the year, right? So in doing so, we really have to look at our emotions, look at how we're feeling, look at the things that we want to happen, our goals, like we talked about, and just bring it all into focus, bring it all into balance here. And move forward confidently, knowing that our emotions aren't our enemy. So, as I said, Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. Or Pluto's ruled by Scorpio, however you want to say it. I never can quite remember the perfect phrasing of that. Anyways, so we have some advice from Pluto, which is the Queen of Potions. And funny enough, she is her Queen of Potions, King of Potions right here. So you really want to show yourself some self-compassion during this whole Scorpio season. Because as I said, Scorpio season, Scorpios, if you have a lot of Scorpio in your chart, you don't have to be Scorpio sun, obviously, but the Scorpio aspects of just that intensity and just, it can feel like a lot. And even shadow work itself can just feel like a lot. So we have to show ourselves some compassion. We have to. Or else this whole process is going to feel just so much worse than it needs to. It doesn't have to feel bad. Of course, there's going to be some dug up stuff. We have to address any hopelessness, any issues, any self-doubt. We have to acknowledge emotions that we may have been ignoring this whole time. But through that whole process, you just have to tell yourself that you're human. It's going to be okay. You have the ability to get through these harder, transformative moments and really, come out stronger, come out on top, come out being able to accomplish your goals, whatever they are. We only have a little bit of fire in this whole reading. So, what we really are doing is going through the water aspects, these with the cups or potions, I should say, they're the same suit, which is the emotional suit of the tarot. We have to go through these emotions and navigate and bring balance and acknowledge them and bring them to the light in order to get that fire going in us again. Or to, keep the fire going, So that's, I think, what the tarot is really telling us for the Scorpio season. I'm going to get some last messages from the Oracle cards I have here. These are the Moonology cards, also brand new. There's 2 brand new decks that I'm using. This deck I gifted myself because I really have been wanting this deck forever. And I think this Halloween, Samhain theme tarot cards along with these moon cards, it's just a really nice festive, there's one card, festive reading altogether. Let me just get all of these ones real quick. I see last messages for the collective. This card wants to come out. I'll leave that here, and I'll go over these in a second. Last messages, please. Thank you, thank you. Last messages for the collective. Okay. All right. Let me put this down. Okay. Last messages. We have a new moon eclipse with expect powerful change. Is what we've been talking about this whole time. You can bring about change. And then we have it's time to take action, new moon in Aries. And finally, your commitment is being tested, first quarter moon. Okay. So really, what I'm thinking here is during this Scorpio season, we have the power to bring about change. We have the power to dive deep down. An eclipse, new moon eclipse here, it shows the darkness. It covers up the light. So we really have to bring in an understanding to our shadow self. Shadow work is so important in general, but it's just with Scorpio season, it's really the best time to do shadow, in my opinion. I love doing shadow work during Scorpio season because, again, it's just... festive isn't necessarily the right word. It's the word I would use, but I think you know what I mean. It's just the perfect time of year. And out of that, you can expect a lot of change. You can expect, as I said, to kind of turn these emotional turmoils around, this hopelessness around, right, in order to bring about the change, bring the spark of fire back. And that's what this new moon in Aries is talking about too. We have 2 new moons, so just so much newness, new chapters, new beginnings. Again, all this change. If that's what you're looking for, then this is what you need to be focusing on. And I think with this action card, it's time to take action with new moon in Aries. your action is to begin to acknowledge these emotions, acknowledge the things that are holding you back, and taking the steps forward to address them. And then the actual action, the outer action that this Page of Candles and Six of Candles is talking about, will come about on their own through this powerful change. And your commitment is being tested with, what does it say, first quarter moon. I mean, that's all this is right now. That's all a lot of shadow work is. Are you going to commit to yourself this Scorpio season? Are you going to commit to your well-being? Are you going to commit to acknowledging these parts of you that you've hidden away? Acknowledge the parts of you that you might be ashamed of. Your commitment, I think, to yourself, ourselves, as the collective, is being tested. And I think it's a really beautiful thing if we actually stick with it. And we stick with it through this Queen of Potions card, our self-compassion, being there for ourselves, knowing that this is all safe work to do, that we are safe as well. That's a really important thing to remember while you do shadow work, while you do things that are festive to Scorpio season. Because again, the digging down into the deep of our subconscious can feel really scary. You don't really know, you might not know what you're going to find down there. But regardless, you're safe. And if that means doing this means you have to kind of have, you should have a support system around you anyway, that other people that you care about and that care about you can acknowledge that you're safe to do this kind of work. I'm also always going to be a big advocate for therapy. Maybe getting a therapist, and that'll help you understand that you're safe during this process. Just having that other person, that outer external source, being able to be there for you. That might be just specific messages for a select few, but again, take what you want out of this reading and leave the rest. But that's really what I'm seeing so far, or for this Scorpio season. Yeah, it's just time to see what's really been bothering you, what's been holding you back, and how your emotions play a role in that. Or really, your emotions can lead you to finding out all the things that are holding you back, what's keeping you from your goals, what's keeping you down. Looking at your emotions and understanding that you probably have some emotions that you're hiding, or some things that you are ashamed of and don't want to acknowledge, and bringing those to light, this is Justice card, so bringing those emotions to justice, in a way you can say, all while doing self-compassion, can just bring about change, can bring about a new kind of commitment to yourself, and can start bringing you closer to your external goals, and even internal goals too. Those are just as important. And I say you have to start with your internal goals. So with that, I'm going to leave these cards here for now. And I'm just going to give you a few ideas of just other things you can do during Scorpio season to really make the most of it. Let's see, I have my notes. Here, let's take a look at what I have. So, I've been saying it all this time. Scorpio season is a great time for shadow work. Other rituals you can do if you practice any kind of magic or anything like that. You can make an ancestral altar. Right now, our ancestors, whether you know them or not, they're very much present. This is when the veil between our world and the spirit world is thinnest, so it's also why Scorpio season falls on Dia de los Muertos, the Mexican tradition of honoring the dead, on November 1st. So you can make an ancestral altar. You don't have to be of Mexican or Latin descent to do that. You can just honor your ancestors by throwing up little mementos for them if you want. You can also practice some sex magic. It's a really great time to do that if you're into that sort of thing. No big deal if you're not. Protection magic is really great, or any kind of protective actions that you feel called to do. Honoring the birth, death, and rebirth cycle in any sort of way. This tends to kind of fall back into perhaps the ancestral altars, ancestor types of meditations, that sort of thing. You can explore new interests. If little new things have been kind of piquing your interest lately, now is a really great time to kind of explore them and see, what's for you, just in a really fun way. Great time for an outdoor movie night. Those are always being outside, kind of in the dark, and doing something fun in the dark is very indicative of Scorpio season. Which brings me to my last Scorpio ritual for this season, night swimming. Again, doing fun things in the dark. That might be one of the best things to do for Scorpio seasons, whatever that looks like to you. So, with that, I believe that concludes this reading, which now brings me to the super fun, like, subscribe, comment. It means a lot to me if you do any or all of these things for my channel as I try to build it up. We'll see how that goes, how consistent I am, but I do promise to give my all, and I hope that that it shows. And with that, I think we are going to end this reading right here. So thank you again, and I will talk to you all next time. Bye.